This is an overnight ordeal. He's asked me to bring along some blankets, pad to sleep on, and to be prepared to spend the entire night in the influence of the medicine. Here we
I'm Les Stroud, and I'm in the jungles of Peru seeking out the true masters of survival, some of the last indigenous people on Earth.
Before they're gone. Before the past is lost. Before their world vanishes. I can learn their ways.
Vast, but sparsely populated, the Amazon rainforest runs through 9 South American countries and covers 60% of the country of Peru. Deep in these forests live a tribe that was hidden from modern civilization for hundreds of years called the Huachipaide. Though the Huachipaide have abandoned their nomadic ways, they still hunt with bow and arrow and gather wild edibles and insects for food. Here in the Peruvian rainforest, I'll learn the secrets of this rare ecosystem from the jungle's very secret keepers themselves. My journey to the Amazon jungle of Peru starts in the high Andes, winding its way through various mountain ecosystems until I reach the Amazon itself. Our path to the Huachipaide tribe leads us directly through a town whose primary export is coca leaf. Gathered from the mountainside plantations, the leaves are left to dry in the sun and then packaged and legally exported for tea. In tea form or simply chewed, the leaves are good for suppressing hunger, thirst, pain, and fatigue, and are a staple for the Peruvian locals. There's a darker, illegal side to the coca trade here, but it happens under the cover of darkness. Continuing my journey to the Huachipaide tribe, the roads become rough and wet. Only a few weeks before, mudslides crippled the country and rivers swelled from torrential rains. It's turned these remote back roads into treacherous pathways where one slip could mean a 1,000-foot fall into the green abyss.
We are definitely stuck here. Yes. Now this is jungle driving.
Vehicles are often the biggest victims deep in the jungle. And one thing is for sure, drive off the side of the road here and you'll likely never be seen again. After rescuing stuck vehicles at least a dozen times, I finally arrive in the remote Amazon village of the Huachipaide. It's a big deal to the Huachipaide that an outsider has come to live with them, and they welcome me with a special meal. They prepared a root called yucca. It's chewed and smashed till it looks a lot like mashed potatoes, but tastes sweeter. When it mixes with the saliva from the ladies that chew it, it actually ferments the mixture. The tribal chiefs greet me in full headdress and offer up a meal of the fermented yucca mush. As expected, they live simply here, but the fingers of the outside world continue to grasp the once remote jungle culture.
This is their house. This is the real deal here. You can see up, they sleep on hammocks. This is as simple and as primitive as it gets. Now, once again, the two main things that I find change culture radically. Simply a metal pot. And I don't know what they would have used before, maybe pottery, maybe not. But a little bit of plastic, round metal pot. The rest of it's very simple. It's all based on weaving, tying together, carving, and grabbing the raw materials from the jungle. It's really quite amazing how they sit on the cusp of living almost as primitively as they have always lived, yet modern world creeps in just a little bit here and there, either slowly or quickly, depending on how you look at it.
All actions of every sort taken by the Huachapare are begun by ceremony. Because these ceremonies assures their very survival in this jungle life, before we go on a hunt, we've got to ask permission from the jungle spirits for blessings, strength, and success on the hunt.
So the point of this is that it's like asking the medicine of the plant to improve and keep the accuracy of the hunters, us, intact by rubbing the medicine of the plant onto the arrows. So this is the final piece here. This will come with me. It's like a secret ingredient. But before, if I see an animal, then I rub the arrow with this. All right, let's go hunting. This particular village you can access by vehicle. That means access to the outside world pretty readily. Modern clothes in the town and village. There's some sinks and taps, and cutlery, plates, those types of things. Lots of access to modern implements, but still living a fairly primitive lifestyle when it comes to certain aspects like hunting. The hunting and gathering part of a hunting and gathering society is exactly the skill set that seems to be the separator between assimilating into a modern culture and maintaining a more primitive one. That combined with ceremony and ritual. Lose the ceremony and ritual, lose the land-based skills like hunting, fishing, and you lose the culture. Got some really nice wild mushrooms here. Perfect. It's always hunting and gathering, gathering and hunting. Gather while you hunt, hunt while you gather. Either way, there's a reason why that phrase has been played out the way it has been, because that's exactly what they do. And one doesn't really ever come without the other. It's the perfect use of energy, perfect synergy of activities.
As expected, the women are the gatherers, spotting wild edibles with every turn of the jungle trail. And also, as expected, the men are the hunters.
A lot of game that they might go after here has, well, started to disappear. The game is not as it used to be. A lot of the game is gone. Too much activity, mines, roads being built, just like everywhere. And that's what sends the game away, so they have to go farther and farther to find just about anything. This dude's actually going to climb the tree, get to the heart of palm. Not sure how high he's going, but he's definitely preparing. Sometimes gathering for these guys, it's like putting your life into your own hands. I've seen this method before. Putting a rope around feet like that. It's the same technique used a long way away from here in the Pacific Cook Islands. Wrapping a strap around his feet and then going up the tree, the feet grasping around the trunk. The beauty of the heart of palm is he can just go up this tree and take food like this whenever he needs energy. So for hunting, it's perfect. It's a quick grab along the way, and doing it this way rather than chopping it down at the bottom means the tree still lives. It'll sprout another top, and they can do it again later. Oh, look at that, it's beautiful. Nice, clean, and white. Soft. It's super healthy, and it's a good food. No wonder they developed the skills to be able to climb that high to get at food like this. It's just total hunting gathering. One thing leads to another, leads to another. These leaves are basically to simply make a funnel for getting water from a water vine, which we could all use right about now. So we've got a hunt on now. Just by chance he sees a bird, he hears a bird. So this is crazy. He's walking in bare feet. I'm trying to walk with boots on. It's ridiculous. He's walking
They don't taste good. All birds are taken for food in the jungle.
Just missed the bird. And it got stuck in the tree, the arrow. Bravo.
I'm in the very humid and very hot Peruvian Amazon jungle with the remote Huachapaide tribe. We're on a hunting and gathering mission as they share with me their jungle survival techniques.
There's no such thing as an easy jungle hike. Straight up, straight down. That's why they call it the jungle. This vine here is simply for basket weaving. They need some more supplies, so they're gathering along the way. Always so far to go just for one little item. Because even this close to society, and even with metal pots within grasp, they still weave their own baskets, make their own bags, carry things from the jungle. So in this way, definitely keeping their culture alive. Sometimes when I'm confronted with a situation where I meet people such as these, where they're so close to civilization, and some part of them seems savvy, I'll bet I'm not the first person to film these people. Yet still, be able to come through the jungle like this, barefoot, climb trees, gather everything they need for survival, shows that even though they're becoming savvy to the outside modern world, they haven't lost their skill level for their original culture and way of life. You gotta watch it with every step I take. Every time I grab a tree, pull myself up, you gotta be careful it's not one crawling with poisonous ants, or sometimes you just shake the tree a bit and ants or worse might fall from above. And worse here could be any number of extremely poisonous snakes. That's why they wanted me to be in boots to protect my ankles while they walk in bare feet. It's as simple as that. It's just a chop off of the vine and the water just comes drizzling out. And even using bamboo for the container. You've got to chop both ends of it. Otherwise, if you just chop one end and wait underneath it, the suction holds the water in. This way with this vine, you chop both off and all the water drains out. Usually it's just the men that come out on the hunt, but this time out, women are with us because we're doing some gathering. There we go. Whoa. Got a lot of water in this one now. This water is just great just to drink, but it's very medicinal water. If you have conjunctivitis or fever, you can drink this water. Very helpful, very good for you. That's good. That's very good. And it's surprisingly it's cold too. It's not cold here, temperature-wise, but the vine water's cold. It's beautiful. I'll just stop for a little bit of protective face painting here. Like this little spot here. He thinks he can get some worms.
Look at that.
What do you see? What do you see?
Look at that.
Oh, yeah. It's a wasp nest. That is one heck of a big small wasp nest. Those are just little tiny wasps, but they hurt when they sting. It's just a ball of them. It's a ball of wasps. He's walked right in behind them. I don't think I'm gonna go in and follow him this time. I'll let him come out. Wow, that's incredible. That's the trouble with the jungle. When you go through, you're gonna stir something up.
My guide is hard on the hunt for a treat hidden within a dead palm tree.
Oh! That's a lot of work for that meal. See, bite? Bite? Oh, see? Okay, it bites. All right. Finally, now we get to eat our take-home lunch here.
Ok, entonces dale a él y ustedes también. ¿Sí?
Mushrooms.
Camarón.
Ah, okay. I didn't even see these the first time, but they caught some shrimp with the snails. Yep, that's shrimp, all right. Wow, the palm heart is amazing. It's fantastic. Snail. A little chewy, but good. So there we go, that's my little grub dude there. She took her part already. It's good. It's good. See? So you can see that we were gathering while we were hunting. Classic hunting and gathering. In the process, we ended up with enough food, even though we were unsuccessful with the hunt, we ended up with enough food to eat. We've got snails, mushrooms, the grub, we've got some banana, the palm heart, all of it absolutely delicious and enough to be full tonight. As the shaman explained to me, everything is done with a ceremony. There is nothing that they do that doesn't somehow start with some kind of ceremony. And these ceremonies and these skills are what I'm about to learn.
The Huachipare believe these ceremonies keep the spirits of the area and the community in balance and harmony. They've been practiced for hundreds, if not thousands of years. When one member is going through a difficult time, the shaman will work with him and call the different plant spirits to come to appease his soul. They wouldn't allow me to experience life and survival with them until I underwent a series of ceremonies meant to align my own spirit with the spirits of water, rock, wind, and fire, as well as the spirit of the jungle and the earth itself. For they believe without these ceremonies, people are not living their lives in harmony with nature. In the dampness of the rainforest, the shaman and I spend hours working on a single hand drill to create fire. They have matches, but this is a sacred fire for a sacred tobacco ceremony, and it must be started in the traditional way. As so many ceremonies are, this one is for purification and connecting with the spirit of tobacco.
Bueno.
As I work with the elements and eventually produce a flame, my intentions become known to the spirit world.
Que ponga la mano de espíritu de la paz y armonía, así.
Tobacco and fire are what feeds the plant teacher's genius, and they say that before you cut down a medicinal plant or ingest one, you must blow tobacco smoke and ask for permission. If I'm going to be able to ingest the Huachipare's powerful plant medicines throughout my time here, I have to honor the place with tobacco and fire by undergoing this sometimes painful but clarifying tobacco ceremony. Coca leaf is chewed for the strength, and a mixture of dried tobacco and ground dry bark powder are placed in a small pipe and blown high into the nasal passages. The shaman has a curled pipe and blows it into his own nose. But for me, he handles the pipe as he knows blown too hard could be a problem. But even when he handles it, it's extremely painful. Some describe the first experience of it like driving a spike up your nose with a hammer. The blast of tobacco and bark dust washes through my senses with the power indicative of an ocean wave. But he asks to blow more, as both nostrils are necessary for cleansing of the nasal passages, for the cleansing of the mind. The rest of my body takes a back seat to the intense feeling of clarity that comes over me. I don't smoke cigarettes, so the intense tobacco flushing instantly induces feelings of nausea. Clarity of vision and clarity of the mind don't always come without some kind of pain. I'm deep in the Peruvian jungle with a group of people called the Huachipaide, and after many sacred ceremonies and a jungle trek to gather food, we've headed off once again to try our luck this time with fishing. But first, a small stop along the way to deal with a snake that scared a family out of their dwelling.
This snake was actually in the roof, and they pulled him out of the dwelling here. And they aren't going to let a snake like this sort of hang around loose. So unfortunately, they've whacked it on the head, but they kill these snakes always. So this poor guy, his fate is relegated to the same fate that most snakes around here, if they're spotted out in the open, experience, and that is they get whacked and killed. This one's still, unfortunately, a little bit alive here. I was able to get to it before they completely killed it. That is a beautiful snake. Now he's just trying to get his bearings, come back around on me here, but they've hit him. But I've seen snakes, now you see him sort of twisting around, trying to get his bearings. I've seen snakes hit before that come back around. So with any luck, I mean, they want to just chop his head off and kill him. With any luck, maybe I've got it to the point where they'll let him go. And I can let him back into the jungle here. All right. The last thing I really want to do is let this snake get killed, but there's no way they want to let it go free. And that's that. That's life in the jungle. Snakes like this come around, encampments like these. Not my style, not my speed, not what I'd like to do, but it's the way it has to be done. It's life in the jungle.
As it turns out, this is not a poisonous snake, but for the Huachipaide, when it comes to a 4-foot snake in your roof, they kill first and ask questions later.
Sad though this is, it's the reality of living around poisonous snakes, spiders, ants, all sorts of creatures. Back at home, when we just use poison and we don't see the death. Here, when something threatens the life of your children, your family, you have to kill it yourself. At least they're making use of all of it. They're pulling the fat out from the snake, which is very important for them, and the meat, and they'll use the skin for decoration.
We continue on our hike into the jungle to gather the elements needed to carve bows and arrows by hand. Survival here is a daily exercise, whether dodging snakes, collecting edibles, or making tools. Yet the reality is, they're only a jungle drive away from civilization. It's an extreme juxtaposition of ways of life.
Just gathering all we can for making bow and arrows.
Around the world, the process of making bows and arrows is not one to be rushed. Hours, days, or even weeks are spent perfecting the tools needed to live in the jungle. This tribesman is an expert at his craft, assembling a weapon quickly and efficiently, using the wood we've collected and a simple knife.
He's much faster than me. Each tribe around the world that I've seen still use the bow and arrow has pretty much the same technique. We've got to get it carved down till it's thin enough, and in some cases, like right now, he's putting notches in depending on what they're going for, and then always using heat to straighten it up. Put it over the heat, it loosens up, opens up the pores, opens up the cell structure so that you can straighten it out, and then it cools straightened, and it's no different here.
Once again, the outside world makes its impact, however small, in the middle of the jungle.
It's like in so many places making use of modern tools to do a very ancient and primitive skill. A pair of scissors. Probably used to be a sharpened stone, sharpened bone. This right here is the bird that the feathers came from. Pauhi. I can't pronounce it. But it's a big black bird from the jungle of Peru. First rubs it with the insect dung, and then charcoal just creates a glue. You know, when you watch closely just how intricate this is to put this fletching on the arrow. It's a marvelous skill. It's a beautiful skill. It's intricate. It takes technique. It takes patience. And how many young kids are learning this skill right now? I haven't got a clue, but I can't see people knowing how to do this 20 years from now, unless they keep it alive here. Hopefully they will. See. Here they don't use poison at all. It's just this long arrow, and they'll have other types of arrows as well, but for the hunting we're going to do for bird or small mammal, this is what this arrow is made for. They don't need poison. You can tell in the workmanship that he's a master craftsman. It's just beautiful, beautiful work, done quickly, swiftly, smoothly, and solid.
The Huachipade are skilled fishermen, but not using poles, using instead these very arrows we've been working on.
All right, we're heading our way to the river. Oh, there's another bullet ant. Check that out. Okay. The meanest thing in the jungle is an inch long.
Deep in the Peruvian Amazon jungle, I'm making my way to a river used often for its bounty of fresh fish.
It's about a 4 or 5 hour journey on the jungle trail here. Build a raft, we're gonna head down and do some fishing. This is still part of how they exist throughout the years is navigating the rivers by raft and fishing with bow and arrow. So we're gonna head out to do that and see if we can't get in some hunting along the way. I'm gonna see if I can get a shot away with bow and arrow going after fish, which is tricky. He's a little worried that there may not be that many fish for us to go for, but we'll give it a shot anyway. So we've got to move real slow just to try and spot the fish in the water.
Everything matters while searching for fish, even our shadows. Each movement has to be slow and measured, or the whole hike becomes a waste. The fish are becoming scarce in this river, but we can still spot a few through the muddy water. It's a bit of a mental challenge fishing like this. If unsuccessful, as in our case today, all of the well-crafted arrow tips are broken on the rocks beneath the surface of the water. At least we can still meet up with more members of the tribe to carry out what is hopefully a more productive way of trapping or catching fish. But first, we have to head downstream.
We're just getting this raft put together. Continue jamming in the spikes into the balsa wood, which had to be brought from further upstream because even that's starting to be depleted in this area. But it's quite the process. That's some hard wood. That's chunta. Sometimes they actually do split the logs. You don't put the spike in just the right way.
The machete and the axe are the two most valued tools from the outside world. They make so much possible in the jungle. There are places downriver the Huachipade want me to experience. Areas of the jungle where we can poison fish and gather plants of medicine meant to give me the strongest of purifications. For people who live in the jungle, gathering supplies takes on the form of a giant spiderweb of trails and journeys throughout their territory. There is no box store at the end of the street where all your wants are satisfied. Yet life here seems somewhat more satisfying.
Throughout most of the jungles of the world, people have found ways to catch fish simply by poisoning them. And the Huachipade are no different. So this morning I'm going to head out and see if that skill is still intact and just how effective it can be in a place like the Peruvian Amazon. Okay.
A ver, huele feo. Distinto aroma.
Ah, sí. I asked them if they get stung or bitten much doing work like this in the jungle. And they just said, yes, yes, always. Ow! Ow! Hey, no problema. Like that. There's always something here to sting you or bite you, mostly ants. The jobs of survival here is split evenly between the men and the women. The women generally do a little bit more of the weaving, of course, and the men generally do a bit more of the hunting with bow and arrow. But otherwise, a lot of the jobs are split between both sexes.
Also split evenly is the pride in the skills of the jungle, along with the desire for their children to learn skills of the outside world.
So 37 ant bites and about a pound of sweat later, and we've got all the roots we need for poison fishing.
Almost at a jogging pace, I'm trying to keep up on the jungle trail with the barefooted Huachipare of the Amazon rainforest.
The clothing they're wearing is their clothing of choice. They do have t-shirts and pants. Sometimes they wear that. Sometimes they wear what they're wearing now, which is essentially clothing that's been made out of bark of trees, processed, beaten down, softened up, dyed, painted, until they end up with the beautiful clothing they have on now. On another day, they might throw on their cotton t-shirt they got from town. They just jump between the two worlds without thinking about it.
While the men often show me much pride in their hunting skills, it's the women who are always the most playful once their shyness subsides.
How do you recognize?
Daddy and Wai. Daddy and Wai. Daddy and Wai. That's my new name, Dara. Daddy and Wai. Means the one who travels the world. Nowadays, they use plastic to do the poison fishing, cover the pond. But they just had discussion because they said, well, can you turn the camera off when we use the plastic, and then later we'll put the leaves on, which is the way we've always done it. And I guess they felt bad about it, but I told them I'm not here as a tourist. I don't want to see the dress-up version of what they do. I want to see what they do now. And it's fine by me. They want to use plastic, use plastic. They want to use leaves, use leaves. I know they know how to do it. That's all that matters. Aqui? Aqui?
Within a short period of time, and a few hands for help, we manipulate the flow of the river, giving us a spot with a slow current to put the poison in. All of the ingredients of roots and stems need to be broken down individually to allow the chemicals to work together and permeate the water.
This poison is so strong that I'm not supposed to now put my hands in the water. It'll send the fish away. I don't want any pieces to go in the water. It'll scare the fish away. And I'm not supposed to touch my mouth, my eyes, and I can't wash until I'm done. So, pretty powerful poison. I remember I was poison fishing in another country, actually. It was in the jungles in Sri Lanka. And there, from what I could tell, the poison put in the water actually took the air out of the water, the oxygen out of the water, and so the fish rose to the surface trying to gasp for air, and you could catch them. Here, they say this poison might make them a bit dizzy, make them dopey, make them easier to catch, and it eventually also kills them outright. Once again, I find myself with poison all over me that I'm not supposed to get in my eyes or lick or touch. You gotta wonder how fishing using poison can just evolve in jungles thousands and thousands of kilometers apart. One jungle, and then you go halfway around the world to another jungle, and they both have peoples that catch fish by combining ingredients and poisoning them.
For this method, the poison is put into the top of the flow and winds its way down the stream, affecting the fish as it goes.
Got one. Aha! Now that's what I'm talking about. This one swam itself right up onto the shore. coming to the surface readily now. Just dozens and dozens of these little tiny catfish and different fish. One big one. More. You can see a whole group of people from the village came down to help out with this one. This was pretty amazing to do this kind of work. It's not a huge payoff for what we've got here, but still, I imagine there are times where the fish they get are quite large. All depends on the season, the river, the timing, everything. This whole process is amazing and utterly primitive. I hadn't actually seen this one before, but take the bamboo, all the fish go in the bamboo, stuff the top with bamboo leaf, put on the fire, and there's actually bamboo flavor that gets infused into the fish as they cook it, so it's fascinating.
Life in the jungle is a perpetual state of living or surviving in the moment. The fish are caught here and now, and so they're eaten here and now.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Gracias. I'm gonna let that cool down. That's hot, but it looks delicious. Delicioso. Ah, sí, sí. Of course. Lobster. Delicioso.
Delicioso.
Sí. This mother here wants her children to learn the technology of the computers and so on. But she also wants them to maintain the connection to the land and know the land skills as well. My question is, can you have both?
Huachipari believe that the glue that will keep this culture together is the sacred medicinal plant ceremonies. After establishing my honest desire to learn their way of life, I'm about to take part in a very powerful Huachipari ceremony.
The medicine we need for the next ceremony is this vine, so we're just harvesting it. It's very important that he wanted me to be part of the harvesting.
Esto es la chacruna blanca.
Chacruna blanca.
Sí.
The shaman and I have gone off to collect medicinal plants for the next ceremony. It's the ceremony of essentially for enlightenment and vision. And it's very important at the time of day that the plants are collected. It's very important that I be part of the collecting, because for them it's all connected all the way through. The energy of the plant, my energy, the earth's energy, all together. It's actually a medicinal plantation. Alberto, the shaman, has cultivated 216 medicinal plants here in this little tiny section of the jungle. We have at least 12 to maybe 14 different medicines that have to be prepared for tonight's ceremony, all combined to create a powerful medicine. These people in the Peruvian jungles have taken the knowledge of medicinal plants just completely and entirely to the next level.
And it's to that next level where Alberto, the shaman, wants me to go. A level of complete purification and cleansing. And for this cleansing, a concoction of more than 14 leaves, roots, stems, and flowers is necessary. Some of these plants could be harmful to the point of being deadly if mixed wrong. Or it could simply be too weak to do anything at all. None of this is done haphazardly. All actions are to be done mindfully, with good intentions, or it's feared that wrong intentions and motives will actually affect the medicine itself, or at least my reaction to the medicine. This combination is meant to show me a path to answers and to understanding. Alberto has practiced all his life, and it's this skill of combining all these ingredients that is quite possibly either being lost or in danger of being lost if the young members of the tribe don't take up the skill.
After a full day of fasting and resting, I'm just headed my way now to a hut, I suppose deep in the jungle, as they say, to have the ceremony, take the medicine. This is an overnight ordeal. He's asked me to bring along some blankets, pad to sleep on, and to be prepared to spend the entire night within the ceremony and within the influence of the medicine.
And that is indeed how the Wachipade look at it all. It's all medicine. Plants to align my spirit with other spirits. Plants to purge me of sickness, of ailments, of congestion, even of evil. Plants and ceremonies meant to align my spirit and bring it into harmony with the earth energy and the spirits of the natural world.
So far, the whole first part of the ceremony has revolved around relaxing, eating coca leaves, and preparation to bring all of us into a state of openness and acceptance.
The shaman summons the plant spirits to come and help him during the ritual. This is a healing ritual called La Purga, in which I'll physically purge all my demons and all that I don't need in my life. Physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. I'll drink 2 times and will relax until I feel the effects begin to take hold. This medicine is strong and causes me to retch, flushing toxins and jungle parasites from my body. My vision goes white like the static of a TV set without a channel tuned in. And metaphysically, I journey beyond the thatched roof hut, releasing that which I no longer need. In this way, the Wachipade rid themselves of disease in both the body and the mind, coming into balance with their surrounding environment and harmony with their fellow tribe members. In this cockroach-infested hut, I sit and wait for what, I'm not sure. It's simply meant to be a cleansing, a clearing of my body, mind, and soul. Sitting quietly with the shaman and his apprentice, I'm acting out a journey that thousands of Wachipade take many, many times in their life, to reconnect to the elements that surround them, to become well, to become strong, and most importantly, to get answers. More in touch with the medicinal and valuable plants of the jungle than most people on the planet, these Wachipade are holding on to a skill set that in some eyes could be the future key to curing diseases and sickness worldwide. And they don't want to lose these skills. They're proud of them. Hopefully, they'll be able to keep their knowledge and share it with people beyond their diminishing jungle borders, and take this great spiritual and physical knowledge beyond survival.